Mhm.
And, you know, kind of backing into it. And then at that point, start selecting ones that you want to bid on. And then the whole pre-bid due diligence, you know, you guys went really deep into that step by step by step. You know,
Yeah.
I basically took notes and then I rewrote the notes every week just to like really go over it and have it nice and clean. Yeah, you know, the pre-bid and then the post-bid, like after the bid's been accepted. So just
Yeah.
having you guys really went through it step by step by step by step. And I think a lot of people need that, especially when you're starting off.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
just like a roadmap of like, okay, all right, this
it's
is,
easy. It
yeah,
also takes the emotion out of it, right? You're
yeah,
not feeling,
exactly.
oh, I like this, I don't like that. It really kind of clearly goes through and says, okay, here's your scenarios, here's what happens. And it almost can turn your brain off at the point
Yeah.
where you plug, go, because you set up the box to accept things and then kick it back out.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
you think,
yeah. It just
And
becomes
that's
a numbers game at that point.
absolutely. People ask me all the time, so do you travel to go look at these houses? And I said, no, I don't. And part of it is because it's convenient and I don't have to, but part of it is once you actually get into a property, if you spend too much time on a property, you get emotionally involved in that property.
Right, right.
And then you're like, well, this could work. If we just did this, this could work. And if we just, you know, I think I can make this one work. And I learned that early on is like, don't try to make something work.
Yeah. I
Go by
remember
the
you said
numbers.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. If the
Yeah,
numbers
just
work, do
if
it.
they
If
work,
the
they
numbers
work,
don't
but
work,
don't try to push the numbers to make them work. Yeah.
no. If it works, great. If it doesn't, there's another one.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, no, I love the idea of taking the emotion out of it, that it's
Yeah.
just numbers. It's going to fit into, and this is the purchase price based on your numbers and everything you've put into the calculator.
Yeah.
what was one big surprise that you didn't expect from the class, either what you learned or how you feel now that if you look back, you say, oh, I didn't know that was going to happen. Anything that you learned or what you feel like now that was different prior to taking it?
I think the loan calculator just being it's just that it being so structured to me, like that just makes me feel comfortable because it's like, all right, let me just go through the process, the steps here, and at the end of the day, it's going to spit out what I can pay for something
Yeah.
based on the return. It was just so structured, and I love that. I love structure, period. But that just it makes you confident. You know, it's not you're not winging it. You know, or like off the top of your head trying to remember things. It's all there. You
It's
know.
very similar when you originate a note, right? There's no feeling when you originate a note. You run the numbers, you run the calculation, you plug it into a agreement form, and you go with it, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's only the loan officer just like, please approve this loan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it either that's the way it's supposed to be with with underwriting. You either qualify or you don't.
Right.
So, like I said before, Candace was unable to make it. Dave was gonna be part of our second 5-week course. We're gonna run that in February. We are restarting the 5-week course January 3rd, next Tuesday. I'm gonna provide you guys with a link. It's just a form for those who are attending today's webinar. I'll put that in the Facebook chat as well as in the LinkedIn for those who are interested. And if you're interested in getting into it, let us know. We're inside the email should be a code to get some discount off on the first 5 weeks and whatnot if you want to get into it. To me, I think it's valued awesomely because I think that the resources, the data points, the time frames for foreclosure, all that's built into this. Like you have the resources at your fingertips. It's almost like you just plug and play from here, and you're now in a position to start buying notes. In that first 5 weeks, you're ready to go.
And the fun thing for Dave and I is this is actually fun for us. It's not like we're trying to build an empire of students and all that kind of thing. We actually just enjoy doing this. It's just fun. And so we're more than happy to share what we've learned and our process and what we do today versus what we did 10 years ago.
And we share a lot. Before we went on, I was sharing with David about some of the stuff we got going on in the background and some of the cool stuff building for 2023, which I think will be ridiculously awesome. Some of the stuff we're already getting into has changed how I'm looking at things already. And that's okay. We're not going to buy traditional situations as we used to because of the returns we're getting on other ends of things. And we'll talk about that in the class as well.
And quick plug, we'll be talking about that kind of thing at DME
There you
coming up
go.
in June.
Please make sure you get down to Nashville.
Yeah.
Check out DMV.
Yeah,
And you
we're
know,
talking about all
get
kinds of cool
networking
stuff.
with people, right? It's all about the networking. Get down to DME, join the classes, and start networking and have that constant conversation, because these people will help you grow and challenge you and make you better.
Yeah.
I like to be challenged. I'm sure you guys all do too. If you have a
Take
question,
us-
David, please feel free to put in the chat. I know it's a holiday weekend, so we'll see what goes on with everyone else going on here.
Yeah.
When you go through due diligence, you know, I'm not sure, David, if you've done a deal yet. I know numbers are kind of crazy right now. Where was your weakness, or where were you nervous about besides pricing? Where was your fear with due diligence on what to look at?
I think just the steps themselves, right? Like, because that's not
Yeah.
having gone through it, and due diligence, that makes perfect sense to me. But what are the steps? And we just went through like the steps one by one. I mean, like I've like typed it all out based on what we went over, and that gave me just having, like I mentioned from the pre-bid, like starting with your buy box and then filtering the tape and then entering in all the loans there, and then one by one going through them to make sure you had all the expenses of covered for worst case scenarios and exits and stuff like that. That gives me a lot of confidence. I have a step by step. It takes the emotion out of it. It's a roadmap, just go through it. And then the same thing with the post bid,
Yep.
I'm just like now starting to, stick my toe in the water, really plan on getting pretty active here in January. December is just such a crazy month with everything going on.
One of the things we wanted to have in part of this whole thing is that you're going to do things, right? You're going to walk away. You're building the calculator. We're not showing you a calculator and saying, here you go. How difficult was it to play and start messing with things and fixing things and adjusting things? How difficult was it at first to just get used to it?
I mean, I think at first when you look at a calculator, right, obviously, Dave, you've got like the Star Wars of all calculators, calculator to end all calculators, right? Like it's pretty impressive when you first see it,
Yeah.
So I started, with Nathan's, and then started making tweaks here and there and everything. But once you understand it, and once you wrap your head around it, and you just do it over and over and mess with it, it's not that complicated anymore. That's the great thing.
For those people who are using just time value calculations or percentage of UPB, what do you say to them that never had a non-performing calculator?
Yeah, no, if you're basing anything just on UPB, there's just a whole world that's missing there, because a 3% loan is not the same as a 12% rate loan.
Yep.
You can bid 80% of UPB on one and 80% on the other, and you'll have completely different yields, completely different returns. One's not going to be, you're going to need to discount it so heavily on a 3% note that it's not going to make sense. Probably not going to make sense for the seller. He's going to have to give it to you, give it away just about. And so, you absolutely have to do this in order to completely understand bidding and the whole process of it. Yeah.
I'm gonna shake your head at.
Yeah.
I've
got Candace's email here.
Yeah. So Candance did write a little blurb up. She was unable to make it today.
Yeah.
And whatnot. And Stacy, we have a form. You can fill the form out, and I'm sure I can get Nathan to send all the details over to you as well. I can repost the webinar form for you. Just send it, and then Nathan will get a link to it as well, Stacy. So I'm sure Nathan will share it online here too.
Yeah, DME tickets aren't live yet. They'll be live here in the first couple of weeks in January. Just getting the payment thing set up. That's been more difficult than it should be, but we're working on that. Should be fixed here.
We're note investors, not
sure.
these programmers and coders.
No, exactly. Yeah. So here's Candace's. So she says, sorry, I couldn't be live with you on the call today. I wanted to share a few thoughts about your 5-week and 10-week class series. The topics that most interested me in the first 5 weeks were the note math and building your financial calculator topics. As I mentioned in our previous conversation, I do have and use a comprehensive bid calculator that I received as part of my other training, but I wanted to learn more about the way that they work and how to build one if I wanted to. Math has never been my strong suit, and business math is newer to me, but your explanations and our discussions clarified a lot.